So today I'm going to be changing the oil on my 2016 Ford Focus SE. I personally use Royal Purple products on my car. The weight I'll be using is 5W30. I have a Royal Purple oil filter. These are the tools I'll be using. As always, you should have a drain pan, oil pan. I'll be using a ratchet with a, see if I can get it to show, T30, and for the oil drain plug, I'll be using a size 15 socket. I personally love these wrenches to take off the oil filter, but any of them really will do. This one goes on the ratchet, makes it so much easier, and then obviously a funnel. Now, something you always want to make sure that you do when you're changing your oil is loosen up your oil cap. That way you don't have any unneeded pressure when you're draining the oil. And if you look underneath, you have the splash shield. Most of them are fabric, and you will use the T30 to get all of the bolts off. There are 6 of them, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Most of mine stay finger tight. I always put these in a specific spot. 1, so I don't lose them, and 2, so I can keep a mental idea of what they go to. Because when you're working on a big project, some of your bolts start to look the same. So you know if they're sitting in this specific spot, they go to this specific part. So this here is your oil drain plug. This is where you're going to be draining the oil from. You want to make sure to position your drain pan underneath it with enough room to catch in case it shoots out far or just seeps out. You want to go ahead and loosen it. And then you should be able to finger loosen it from there. Make sure to try not to drop it. I'll tend to let it drip a little bit so I make sure my oil pan's in the right place. And there you go. I personally like to make sure that my drain plug is good and clean before I put it back in. I tend to clean all of my parts pretty well. Also, another thing that I don't normally see in oil change videos, but you want to check this washer here. Some cars come with metal ones. I got lucky, mine is like a rubber. The rubber ones are usually fine, but if you have a metal one, you want to go ahead and change it. The next thing you want to do is change your oil filter. You want to make sure your pan is underneath it because this is going to leak a lot of oil as well. Just put that on there. And with these, as you go to loosen it, it's going to grip on the oil filter. And you're just going to want to give it a little turn and then take this off. Most of these are hand tight. I have had some cars where they have not been hand tight and I've had to put more force into loosening them, but I changed this last one so it was hand tightened. And you want to try and keep it level so you're not spilling too much oil everywhere. And this you can just drop in the oil pan. And then as always, you want to clean where your oil filter goes. 1, so it's clean, and 2, so when your gasket goes to reseal with the new oil filter, you have a clean surface to do so. Also make sure to clean around where the drain plug goes. And then go ahead and reinstall your drain plug. Now these do not need to be torqued down a whole lot. Honestly, that's good enough. The next thing you want to do is take the new oil filter and get a nice coating of your new oil on the gasket to help it seal. Just take your new oil bottle, get some oil on there, and just apply a nice liberal coat. It doesn't have to be like sopping wet, just enough to make it glossy. Then you're going to take your oil filter, make sure this is still clean, and reinstall. Like I said, this really just needs to be hand tight, and that's it. You don't need to torque it down. Like, hand tight is perfectly fine. Once that's done, you can go ahead and reinstall your splash shield, because everything else we're going to be doing is going to be at the top of the car. But I'm also going to be doing a video on changing your trans oil, so I'm not going to install mine just yet. Alright, so now we're going to fill the oil up. I'm using 5W30. This is high mileage Royal Purple oil because I'm well over 100,000 miles on my car. So you just want to get your filter in where you removed the oil cap, and the 16 Ford Focus SE, and I believe this is true from the 2011 to the 2018 models, takes 4.5 quarts. And so let's just go ahead and get started. But that is how you change oil in a 2016 Ford Focus SE. Check out my other videos on trans oil, and I'll be doing a video on how to reset your alert for changing your oil in your car.